go through and get pictures of us smiling.
All right, one more time.
Can't do it.
One more time. Do I need lipstick?
No, you'll just eat it off. Hi, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Not House podcast. Today is Sunday?
Yes, Sunday.
September 7th?
Yes.
No, the 8th. I think it's the 8th.
I don't know what day it is.
I think it's the 8th.
Okay.
So this is going to be an interesting podcast. One is we've got a lot of material to cover, and Mom and I have already been fighting this morning. We agreed to have a truce. So we have a truce for the podcast.
We hope we have a truce for the podcast. If not, please forgive us.
Yeah. You know what they say? You always hurt the ones you love the most.
I need to remember
That's
that.
what they say.
Do you remember that a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diana DeCoven used to tell me that all the time when I'd make her mad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway.
We'll start out with yesterday.
You want to start out with yesterday?
Yeah,
Okay.
might as well.
All right.
We went up to New Jersey Sheep and Wool. It was about a 3-hour drive from here. And it was really nice. It was a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be, but, you know, I didn't really have
We'd never been there before. So.
anything to compare it to.
What we compare it to is
Rhinebeck.
Maryland or Rhinebeck.
Right.
You know, which is
The two
not
biggest.
fair.
The
Yeah.
two biggest.
Yeah.
But it was nice. We
Mhm.
got to see a lot of people that, you know, I think what happens is in the fall and spring, we get to see everybody a lot. There's a lot of festivals, there's a lot of events, and you get to see everybody, and then it's a long summer.
Yeah.
And you don't see anybody. So we got to see Gigi, of course, Christina and Miriam. We got to see a lot of our customers.
Mm-hmm.
We had some of our customers there. And then we met some new people that watch us, which we appreciate. Thank you very much. Mary and Abby were there.
Yep, Mary and Abby were there.
Speaking of which, Mary's got a birthday coming up. I think it's the 26th. So early happy birthday, Mary. Abby came down and I taught her. She stayed with Anne for a week and we had a couple of classes. I think Abby's 11. And she said her knitting was coming along good. She hadn't had any serious problems, so that was good.
And Mary is her mom.
Mary is her mom. And it was just a good, fun day. We didn't stay all that long.
You know, we saw Gemma Darlings too.
Yes, we did. We saw Danny and Franny.
Yeah.
I knew Danny was somewhere close because I saw Franny with Pippin.
Mm-hmm. Saw
They
Christy
were cute.
Glass.
Saw
Yep.
Christy Glass.
And saw Color Craze.
Yes, we did. We did. And Kerchinkles.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good day. It was a good day, and it was kind of a relaxed day in that there was no pressure to be anywhere. It wasn't like...
Well, not on us.
Right. We didn't
Yeah.
have to, you know...
And the weather was gorgeous.
Gorgeous. It really was pretty. So it was good.
kind of like a kickoff to
Rhinebeck.
the fall events. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we go ahead and talk about events right now?
We can. We can.
Okay.
Rhinebeck's only 5 weeks away, 6 weeks away.
I'm not counting. So, speaking of events, we have, well, I guess I have 2 announcements to make with regard to Not House Yarns, the yarns that I'm dyeing now. I got asked by Donna of Black Mountain to, that's my passcode, not yours, Donna of Black Mountain to participate in her Indie Extravaganza event this year, which is Friday, October 25th and Saturday, October 26th.
The weekend after Rhinebeck.
Yes, the weekend after Rhinebeck. And so if you don't know, Donna just recently, well, I guess it was early spring, she moved to a new location.
Yes.
She got a lot more space, and with that, she got a upstairs. So she usually has a event, a smaller event during staff, or not staff, SAF. And so this year she has more space, so she invited a lot more vendors to come and participate in the event. So thank you, Donna. So I'm just going to go through and list some of the people that are going to be there. So Lollipop Yarn, Mockingbird Fiber, Spotted Dog Farm, which is jewelry, I believe. Emma's Yarn is going to be there. Button Jar Studio is going to be there.
That's the pretty bags.
Yep, Magpie, Swamp Bunny, and the Fiber Studio, Yarn Habits, Queen City Yarn, Fig and Posy, and Native Fibers, and there's one more, Delphina Collective. It's going to be
Delphina does.
She did bags too?
Yes, she does bags.
And I think I didn't mention Yanni Handmade. So,
and that may not be all of them.
That may not be. It's what I've got listed. You can find more about it if you follow Black Mountain on Instagram. I'm sure everybody's going to be posting about it. Again, the dates are October 25th, which is a Friday, and Saturday, October 26th from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. So yeah, so that's going to be exciting. That'll be my first real. Well, I guess it'll be the second. It'll be the second show outside of the Knot House here. So it's exciting, and I'm trying to figure out all my colors and how I'm going to do it all, and the samples.
That could be just a little bit of what the was going on this morning.
So the other thing that I wanted to talk about was the Knitting Garage and Christy Glass have put together an event for Rhinebeck. That's Friday, and I'm not sure about where the location is for that. Let me just look at that real quick. I know it's Friday. I think they're calling it the Rhinebeck Bazaar. So I do not have a booth at the Rhinebeck at this bazaar. I'm going to be in. Hang on. I'm going to be in the Knitting Garage's booth. So mark your calendar, October 18th at 2 p.m. I think you said it goes to from 2 to 6?
2 to 6, Mm-hmm. It's a free event.
Yeah, it's a free event, and if you follow Christy Glass, you're going to learn all about it. She's doing a lot of promotion about it. So that'll be fun. So I'm just going to have my yarn, like I said, in the Knitting Garage, in her booth. But I'm not sure about everybody that's going to be there. I know Alex Creates is going to be there. I know that Little Fox is going to be there.
I think Swift
is going to be there?
I think so.
Yeah, I haven't seen a full list of everything. That's kind of been a late development, I would say, a recent development. So anyway, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. And it's right in Rhinebeck.
Yeah, I think it's in downtown Rhinebeck.
Yes. And I can't think of the name of where it's going to be.
So more to come on that.
We'll podcast again before then.
Yeah, we'll podcast it again before that. Of course, there's the Indie Untangled event as well.
We sponsor that.
Yep, and
there might be some goodies in goodie bags.
Maybe. So anyway, so that's kind of the events, and so I'll be doing a lot of dyeing, and literally, and
that's another thing that makes us just a little, when there's a lot going on, a little sideways with each other.
So yeah, so we're trying to get all the samples. I'm going to try to have some special colorways for both events.
That'll be good.
Mm-hmm. So what else?
Well, we had podcasted 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago today?
On a Sunday. And we talked about some things that have gotten disjointed. Caitlin was going to release a pattern. Boylan Knitworks. I refer to her as Caitlin, thinking everybody knows who I'm talking about. Boylan Knitworks was going to release a pattern that I had tested. She still has not released it, but is supposed to release it this week. And we had talked about that, so it ended up being too early for us to talk about it.
The sweater release got delayed, and we decided that we would go ahead and just re-podcast.
Yes.
So.
And we had talked about Junk Yarn was going to be here this weekend.
Right, or this past weekend.
Right. Yesterday and today. And we decided that
Hurricane Dorian came through.
Right.
We weren't sure how that was going to be, how that was going to impact Kemper.
So we just, I did talk to her, and she said all they had was a big tree across their back porch. So it was good. They didn't lose power this time.
Okay.
But we've got that rescheduled for later in the fall. I think it's November that we've got that no?
Yeah.
So we've got it rescheduled. So that's another reason we decided we just would re-podcast, because there were things in it that weren't relevant anymore.
Right. So here we are. We also talked about getting Life in the Long Grass in, and since then we don't have that much Life in the Long Grass left. We have the Life in the Long Grass that is the fine sock, 75% merino and 25% nylon. I pulled some colors to talk about because I have on the Millie, and this is another Millie. And I'm just going to throw this out there. If anybody wants to volunteer to make Heather Millies in all the colors, just let me know. I'll send you yarn, and you can make me Millies. Because I've decided that this is going to be my costume for the winter.
Your uniform.
That's going to be my uniform, yeah, not my costume. Well, it might be a costume. So I'll just stand up real quick to show you the Millie.
And you need to thank Lori for that one.
Yeah, Lori made this one. I don't know if you guys can see the back.
Yes.
So Lori used, on a different podcast, I had shown the one that Mom had made, which was done in shrimp scampi, and she held a mohair with it. So it was a little puffier. And I wanted to have a sample of one that was just done using the fingering weight.
Without the mohair.
Yeah, without the mohair. And this is Victoria Street. This was the colorway.
You also wanted to see what Victoria Street would do.
Right, knitted up.
In a sweater knitted up.
Yeah. So this is Victoria Street. And you can see it's kind of a light pinkish taupey base background color with just a lot of little flecks of color in it. I think it looks good. I don't know if it's the best color for me.
It didn't pool though.
No, it didn't pool.
Didn't stripe.
Nope, it's just little
flecks
of color. So you've seen us talk about Victoria Street before. So this is Victoria Street in the skein, and this is Victoria Street knitted up. So, anyway, back to what I said. I'm serious. If you want to knit the Millie for me.
Well, do you hear where that's coming from? She has already said to me, I would love it in every color. And I just rolled my eyes around and thought I've done my one and done.
Except don't pick purple. Well, there's particular purples. Yeah.
I'm the purple girl. She's the blue and green girl.
Yeah.
Even though your
red
looked awfully good on you.
Right. So, back to what I was saying. I pulled a couple colors of Life in the Long Grass that would also make good Millies that we have enough to do. So what did this take again?
Well, it barely took 3. And we decided that if she would have made the sleeves 1/4 of an inch shorter.
Was it 1/4 of an inch?
Yeah. She
would have only used 2 skeins.
Yes.
Yeah. So 2 skeins. Of course, my yardage might be a little bit different than this.
I think it's 400 yards.
This is 460.
So that 2 skeins would do it for sure.
Of Life in the Long Grass would make a Millie for sure.
Because yours are 434.
And this is a medium?
That is a medium. I did a small... Well, all right, let me clarify this. Heather and I discussed
We had this discussion yesterday on the way home.
home.
Yeah. I just told her it was too confusing.
The pattern is written to be done in just fingering on a size 6 or 7 needle.
But you said that they had modified the pattern.
Well, I haven't looked at it this morning.
Okay.
They had to have modified the pattern because if they held mohair, they being the Nice and Knit girls
Who designed the pattern?
who designed the pattern, they held mohair with it, and I just know I used a size 6 needle, held mohair with it. My gauge was 18 stitches for 4 inches, but I knew that was going to be bigger than what the medium would be
If you had just held it.
if you had a smaller gauge. So I did the small, holding the mohair with it, and it fits you
the same as the medium
right.
does. Yeah.
So there again, it's the difference in what weight. The design of the pattern, you could almost use any weight. You would just have to mess with what size.
Yeah. So 2 skeins for the medium without mohair,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
So I picked a couple colors that I thought would be good. So this is Lush. Wonder why it's called Lush. This one is Andesol. Andesol is a really pretty brown, greenish gray color. This one would be really pretty, actually, if you like greens. This is a purple. This is a dark amethyst purple. Lots of little bit of variegation there with some greens and some
Pinks.
pinks and really kind of dark blue. Really pretty colors, life in the long grass. This is another purple. This is rose garnet, so this is a little bit brighter. We have some neutrals too. I just didn't happen to pull those. And this one is Baroque. I really like this one too. This one is more of a wine, brownish, really rich color.
One of Anne picked a really dark green in Life in the Long Grass, and that is what she had you
Dye
do
up the light mohair for.
mohair for, that Heather kind of looked sideways about. But she brought it in last Sunday, and it really looked good, didn't it? It was surprising.
Mm-hmm. You can do a lot of things with when you do a variegated yarn and you put mohair with it.
Yeah, you can. I mean, it lightened it up, it brightened it up. It was so different.
So let me know if you want to knit a Millie for me. And not house yarns. In any color except purple.
Because Mom's one and done.
Mom's done, right. So thank you again, Lori, for knitting this up. I think she did it in like a week.
It didn't take her long.
You said it's really quick.
It's a really, matter of fact, it would make a great first sweater. It's really
Well, this is just very light. It's warm today. Of course, I'm indoors in air conditioning, but
it's a really light sweater.
It's a great sweater for fall. So you'll see it. You'll see this at Rhinebeck in the booth, and also of course at Black Mountain. So that's the reason I want one in every color. So, do you want to talk about what you're working on, and then us talk about all of the samples behind us?
We can do that. I am working on Stonecrop by Andrea Mowry.
That's the sweater for August and September, I think, right?
Yes.
I think it's her official Rhinebeck sweater.
I think it is. Now, I'm doing the pullover, but it comes in a pullover.
Wow, am I that wide?
And, yes. Because you tried it on in a fit sheet.
I know. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm looking at you holding that up going, wow.
I am doing the pullover. She also has it in a cardigan to steek. I am using Dress For It in
Diamond sock?
Diamond Sock. And I am also using Spin Cycle in Neverweary. Now, I will say that I've had to, which is something I don't do very often, but I've had to take off some of this.
Manipulate the color?
Yeah. And I don't normally do that, but I had part of it that wasn't showing up. So I manipulated it a little. I took off what wasn't. This is too blue. It was getting lost.
We don't want it to get lost.
So, I am not doing the bobbles with a crochet hook like she suggests. Not that that's a bad way to do it. Barb's doing it that way. And to do color work, I amaze myself because I can't do anything with my left hand. And to crochet, you hold the yarn in your left hand and you hold it up and you snag it with your hook. Carissa tried to show me that, and I said, okay, I can do it. And I'm over here struggling, and she comes and stands behind me and tries to make my hands do what they're supposed to do, right? And she goes, you know, there is a knitted bubble. You might be better off doing that. So that's what I'm doing, is the knitted bubbles. And I think they look fine. There's enough going on in the...
Is there a YouTube video or something for a knitted bobble for people to...
Yeah, there is. There is. And you can do a 3-stitch, 5-stitch, 7-stitch. And I'm doing 5 instead of Andrea's 7. So your bobbles are a little smaller.
Which is probably a good thing for me.
Another thing that I did is the bobble row is right underneath the arm. And will be right underneath the arm on the sleeve. So I decided I would take the liberty not to do the bobbles underneath the arm right here. I don't know, I left out maybe 3 bobbles right there.
So that way it won't rub.
Exactly. I'm gonna put them on the sleeve.
Right.
Right there. But I just didn't think you needed both of them.
Right.
Rubbing against each other.
So you're saying the sleeve on the underside will be there, but it's just not going to be down below.
It won't be in the armpit.
Yeah, okay.
So, and there was no reason except
That's
that
probably pretty clever.
I didn't want it to rub.
So you've separated and...
I've separated and I am, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 inches.
Inch and a half under the arm?
Yeah. I like it. It's a good pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many skeins? So what size bust are you doing for me?
I'm doing a 42. She suggests 2 negative to 2 positive E's. And I think I am doing...
It's going to be too big because I'm losing weight.
42.
Okay.
Is what I'm doing. Well, I think that if it were a little, it's not going to be a lot too big. But if it were to be a little bigger, I think you'd be fine with it.
Well, I very seldom lose weight in my bust anyway, so. I was down 2 pounds today.
Good for you.
So.
I'm a good influence on
I
you.
guess, yeah.
So that's what I'm working on. I've got another test knit that I'm going to start after I finish this, but I probably won't get it done before I'll get this done before Rhinebeck.
But not the other test knit.
No.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with the yarn for it. I don't really have the yarn for it.
Okay. All right. Again, just real quick. This mom used a dress for it blue, which is not KNYarns, and she used this is Neverweary.
Yeah. Let me say one other thing. One of the things that you have to be careful with, the color work in this is 1 stitch at a time. I mean, it's not 3 or 4 stitches of the color, of your color work.
Right, and then go back to your main color.
Right, so it's 1 color work, 1 main color, 1 contrast, 1 main color. So in doing that, you need to really think about to be sure it's going to show up, unless you want it very subtle like this is going to be.
Right. So you want high contrast between.
Yes.
And we have plenty of spin cycle?
Yes.
Dyed in the wool?
Yes. I've got probably 25 colors.
Okay. We also have Magpie.
We got a new shipment of Magpie swanky sock in with all of her new colors.
A lot of people are doing that.
Yes.
So she's got some you got the fall colors too.
I did.
Yeah.
I got all of her new colors.
So that's a good option for it.
Yes.
Okay.
You also could use Julia Fino for it. And, you know, I think you could use Biches Buches for it.
How many skeins of the fingering is it taking?
I think it's going to take 4. And part of the reason for that is the bobbles take extra yarn.
And that's 4 for you doing it for me a little bit longer.
I am going to do it a little bit longer.
So you got to remember that, guys. Mom always does things a little bit longer, even though I ask her not to make it quite as long this time.
Right.
For me. And I have long arms.
Right.
So I can shove things better.
I know.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what I'm working on. And it's not a fast knit. It's a fun knit because it keeps changing. But it's not
fast.
It's
what size needles are you on?
5s, I think.
That's not too small.
No, but it's not. You're doing 1-stitch cables.
Yeah.
You're
You
doing
got
bobbles.
the bobbles are taking time too. Yeah.
So I was glad that I got done with the bobbles before we split for the yoke. That was a long row. All right.
All right. So let's talk about the things that Bonita finished.
Okay.
Before we talk about new design patterns that we have.
Okay.
What are you looking at me like that for?
All right, let's talk about.
Okay, so let's just talk about. So Bonita, you guys know Bonita. She is my other mother. She is the fastest knitter on the planet. Truly the fastest knitter on the planet. This is another Andrea Mowry pattern, and it also has bobbles. 110.
Yes.
I think is what Bonita said.
I think I am going to beat her on bobbles.
You think this one's got more bobbles?
I do.
But these bobbles are bigger.
They are bigger.
Yeah. So.
And they are knitted as well.
Okay. So this is also Andrea Mowry's pattern, the Daydreamer sweater. So she used Knot House yarns again. Again, we're trying to get samples for these events. And this is Blue Eyes of Steel is the colorway. She held the diamond sock with the Mo Debonair fingering, and she used the same color, right?
She did.
So that is, again, that's Blue Eyes of Steel. It's one of my more popular colors. And it feels really, really soft. I could have that on today instead of my Millie. Maybe I'll save that for the next podcast. I know
It's
some
really
people
pretty.
have said, Heather, we want to see you wearing your knits. So, so it's a very, very pretty sweater, I have to say. And one of the things that we wanted to mention is, you know, Mom, being the expert knitter that she is, doesn't always like to do reverse stockinette. And this design, it really is pretty on the sleeves because it makes the cables and the bobbles on the sleeve
Pop out.
really accentuate them. Yeah,
It does.
so it's a really pretty sweater. It's very fancy, I think, and very dressy. So I'll just show you the back real
But
quick.
it should be warm and cuddly too.
Yeah, I hope you guys can see that. It's really gorgeous.
Bonita did an excellent job.
Yeah, she's such a great knitter. So it's nice to have two great knitters as, you know, moms. Me and Bonita don't argue like Mom and I do.
She'd tell her to hush more than I do.
This is another one that Bonita just finished. So this is a Thea Coleman pattern, and this is using worsted weight yarn. The name of this pattern is Violet Aster. 6 skeins is what it took for me, and it's just really, really pretty. The colorway for this is such a flirt, which is a, you know, pretty much a magenta. I like the color, and the sweater is gorgeous. I've tried it on. It fits perfectly, I should say. And there's not a lot of cables. It's good because, you know, you've got this, the pattern is down above the rib, and I don't know what this pattern is called. But there's some detail up here, and of course, here in the front. anyway, it fits really good. It feels really good. And oh, somebody was talking about the neckline here and how this neckline is nice on me too. So
it looks like it is a I-cord, but it is not. It's just 2 rows of pearls, so garter.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to wearing this one. You'll see me in this at some point soon, hopefully. So again, the pattern is Violet Aster. It's Thea Coleman, and it calls for worsted weight yarn. And I have a worsted weight that's the same as my DK now. I don't quite have it in all of the colors, but it's just called La Di Da Worsted. And again, this is such a flirt, the colorway. So that's that. Okay. So this is 3 for Bonita, right?
Yeah, this is the...
So this was done in Biches Buches, Mom?
Yes.
All right. And I've got the label here on my side.
So it is a lace pattern, front and back.
There, you talk about that. I'll get some colors of Biches Buches.
So it is April, is the name of it.
It's Isabel Kramer, right?
And it is Isabel Kramer. Very pretty. The one thing about Biches Buches is it's so light and airy. It's woolen spun, non-superwash, and it would be very warm, but it's lighter because it is a woolen spun.
And what weight is it, Mom?
It's between a fingering and a sport.
So we've got a blue gray. Do you remember how many skeins she took for that one? We have practically all of the colors in Biches Buches. We have a gray brown. The gray brown would be really pretty too.
I want to say it took her 6.
Blue green. Yeah, I would do blue green.
Because that looks like Blue Eyes of Steel.
It does actually. And this one is the medium gray. I think we have all the grays. Light gray, medium gray, the grayish brown. Here's the light gray. So, but yeah, it is very light.
This color is beige, is the name of the color. Very pretty. Bonita is very much a fan of
She doesn't like
Isabel
to do color
Kramer.
work. So Mom does so I have one mom that does color work, and then I have another mother that does
the cables.
The cables and the lace.
She likes texture.
Right. So that's that.
But I think this one is not for you. This one is for Bonita.
Right. Well, she wouldn't have done that color for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's that. I told you guys we have a lot of material. We have a lot of finished stuff because it's been so long since we podcasted too. I hope we're not forgetting anything. Okay, so this one is oh, we have to move the camera down, Mom.
Well, then we won't be able to see.
Is it the same height as the others?
Yes.
Okay, well, you want to talk about, let's talk about this one first. I'll lift it up.
Well, you can still see it, honey.
Okay. All right, well, I'll let you talk about it.
All right, so this is a new design by Kristen Januk.
Or Media Piranha. That's how I say her name.
Right.
But that's not how you officially say it.
No.
That's her Ravelry name.
So this is a little caplet. She just released it last week. We test knitted it. We used 2 skeins of diamond sock and 2 skeins of mohair. Let me pull that.
So the name of the caplet while she's pulling that is Fox Hollow.
So,
and Januk is spelled Jancuk.
They all kind of laughed at me about this because I had a vision. But nobody else had
I did laugh at her. She looks at me as if I laughed at her. I didn't laugh at her about it.
So it's Honest Abe.
Other people laughed at you.
And Birmingham. Oh, Bonita thought I was crazy. She couldn't believe I'd picked these 2
So
colors.
show that up against this now. So those are the 2 colors that that she used here. Let me get this closer. Yeah.
So in my head, I wanted it to look like fur.
Like a fur caplet.
Yeah, you know, like a mink caplet. So mink is brown and black. So that was where my head was at. But it is very pretty. Everybody has fallen in love with it.
And this is a small, right?
It's a size 60.
Okay. Because you have to do some measurement.
You measure,
have to include your arms in the measurement, right?
So instead of just your bust, you include your arms because it goes over. But it has the same texture pattern on the back. And I don't think you can see it, but it has a garter panel over your shoulders. And she uses a lot of detail. If you look at this pleat, there is a slip stitch all the way up to make the pleat.
It's really pretty.
It really is pretty. We've gotten a lot of comments on it.
And you could also do it without the mohair.
Yes, she did it without the mohair.
Right. So
the
if you're
mohair
looking
was
for
just
it, hers was like a brownish color that her sister modeled.
Yes, kind of a beigey color, I think.
Yeah. Very pretty. I just want to see if I can find it real quick. So just so if you're going to follow her, let me spell out Media Piranha. It's MEDIAPERUANA. And I will link it down in the comments so you can see it. So
she came to Knit Night with us a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you this, guys, on the Instagram so you can see the color that she did. So that was what she used. I'm not sure what yarn she used for this. Let me see. I'm sure she says it somewhere, but I don't see it here on this particular post.
But it was fingering.
It was fingering. So there you go. So that's that. So we've been anxiously waiting to do that, and we couldn't. She hadn't released it when we filmed this last time.
So we didn't even have it in last time.
Yeah, we didn't have it ready to go. So again, it's called Fox Hollow by Christian Danook or Media Piranha. Okay.
All right.
And I will have this one at Black Mountain as well. So we're gonna have all the samples.
Now, drum roll, please. This is Caitlin Hunter's newest design called Ghost Horses. And it was a fun knit for me. But then I love the color work, so of course it was. I will say that the body part is easy. It looks like it's hard, but it's not. It was just a 4-stitch repeat. So, you know, you're not carrying the yarn very far. As were the sleeves. Now,
isn't hers a short sleeve version?
She did it to the elbows, but the pattern is also long sleeves. Or at least when we test knit it, she hadn't even decided how long the sleeves were going to be.
Oh, okay. And again, she made this one longer.
I did.
Yeah.
You know, you usually want 15 inches.
I know.
You decided you wanted a little shorter than that now. But this was a great pattern. I used Diamond Sock Dove for the main color, and I used Spin Cycle Devilish Grin for the red.
And you said that you used a different skein for the sleeves, so the sleeves are a little bit lighter than the body, but they both match. Well,
I had pulled what I thought I needed, not thinking about
adding the length.
And the next day after I pulled it, somebody came in and bought 12 skeins.
Of Devilish Grin.
Wiped me out. And I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do? Mm-hmm. So I immediately called Rachel at Spin Cycle, and she said, of course, she would send it to me. And I was getting ready to go to Eric's house.
Right.
And it had not come in. One of the other girls said, I've got 2 skeins of Devilish Grin. Well, This is the 2 skeins.
Okay.
It's a little pinker, a little bit lighter, but
it
they
looks
match.
Great. It looks
and
fine.
I was careful to match it up. The only place I ever worry about matching anything is across the bust at the armhole.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it to match up fairly well there. And it was a good thing I did that because I was almost finished with it when I got back, and I would not have had enough yarn to take with me. Eric and I would stay up late at night, and I would knit, and he tells stories.
Talk.
He's the best storyteller ever.
Mm-hmm. So I think on the last podcast, Mom, you talked about your trick about having people go ahead and knit the sleeves. Not on the last podcast, on the podcast that we didn't publish.
Right. So I don't always do it, but I tell my knitters to do it. And that is, once you get, say, 2 inches of the body done, if you go ahead and do your sleeves, you don't have as much fabric to have to flip around, because when you're working on the sleeves, you're in the round and you're having to flip it all around and around.
Or it gets twisted.
Yeah. So I try to do maybe 2 inches, maybe 3 underneath the arm, and then do the sleeves. And especially for new knitters, that's a lot easier.
So you use Diamond Sock and the colorway is Dove?
Dove.
So how many skeins of that did it take?
It just took 2.
That's what I thought. You used several more spin cycle.
Yes.
Because it's a lot of spin cycle.
Yes.
It's pretty. So I'll be wearing this. This will be my Rhinebeck sweater. I'll have this on, I'm sure, probably Friday night at India Untangled. So
maybe Saturday on the hill.
Maybe. I have a bunch of sweaters that I get to wear and choose from. I'll have to have them in my bag.
I know, and this year...
swap. I'll just have a t-shirt underneath.
And this year, it's been the year of sweaters for you. I don't have that many that I've made for
You could have made this one for you. Again, I don't ask people. I did ask for the Millie.
Well, I'm bigger. And this is real... There's a lot going on in it.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the reason I asked you if you'd wear it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, let me say this. Let me fix if you'll move that. My weight fluctuates so that a lot of times there'll be sweaters that I want to knit that I know won't look good on me, that'll look good on you. So in all truthfulness, she doesn't ask.
She wants to make me out to be the bad guy. I'm bad enough as it is.
I'm saying that you don't ask. I usually ask you, will you wear this if I make it?
Right.
Now I'm trying to lose weight, and I think I've only got 2 sweaters for Rhinebeck.
Let's hope it's cold.
Yes. Unless,
we're going to be in trouble if it's not cold. Remember the one year it wasn't cold?
Yeah, the year you wore Sunset Highway.
Yeah, it was warm.
It was warm.
It was warm on the hill.
It was.
And that was a fingering weight sweater.
It was. Of course, it was color work, though.
Right, so it was double. But so we want to talk about a few new yarns that we were going to get in?
Yes, we do.
We said that we got Spin Cycle in.
And I've got another order of it coming.
Jeez, okay. We are getting Western Sky.
Tuesday.
Yeah, so hopefully by the time you see this, we'll have Western Sky, and that is a worsted weight.
It's a worsted weight. It's called Merino 17 micron, which is, and I don't understand all that I should understand about it, but Merino is graded by microns. Mm-hmm. And the higher the micron it is,
the softer it
is. The closer to cashmere it is. So this is a very soft merino. We got solid colors.
Mm-hmm. In sweater quantity.
And we got
some variegated, some fun stuff to go with those.
On a little side note, I must say, Someone a long time ago said that we were just an accessory shop. That is no longer the case.
Yeah, it's a little bit funny.
It is a little
I know,
funny.
because I get a little frustrated because I don't think that we have enough little things done up as samples, because Mom's always doing sweaters, and
we had...
I know, I need to step it up. I need to get knitting.
We had a customer in, 2 customers in last week that wanted something simple.
Mm-hmm. And it's not that a sweater's hard, it's just that they don't think it is. Or people don't necessarily want to make the investment in a sweater, too.
Or, they're traveling and they just want, a mindless knit. And we don't have a lot of, even the shawls that we have, I wouldn't call them.
This is why when I say, can we have some hats, I get these looks.
We got a good many hats.
She doesn't like doing simple stuff.
I don't.
We have hats, but they're not necessarily current hats, There's a bunch of good hats. The Grocery Girls, you see the ones that Jodi's done lately? She's done 2 fabulous hats.
I know.
I need to knit them up, don't I?
Well,
I really like the one she did in the DK weight.
If you're going to have...
I know, samples.
A sample.
So this is Miss Brown Bags on, well, you guys know who the Grocery Girls are, but Jodi is Miss Brown Bags. So there's the ale hat, and the ale hat takes 3 skeins of DK. See, isn't that pretty though? But you would kind of want to use your scraps of DK, or you could get 3 colors of DK and then do 2 hats and swap the colors around. Yeah. So that's a good one. The ale hat. I hadn't even meant to talk about these hats, but I'm going to now. The Grocery Girls featured us actually on one of their podcasts, so that was nice.
Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, ladies. And they had some giveaways for their knit along that we gave them.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the other one that she did. Let's see, this one releases next week. The Harvest Crown hat, and that's where she used a lot of little fingering weight. So this is what you could do with minis.
Yes.
Is you could use this, I think she used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors, 5 minis, and 1 base color. And it's called the Harvest Crown. I'll show that one to you guys, so you guys can see what that one is. You see how those little stitches there? So that one would be a fun one to do. I know, I need to get busy. There's not enough time. There's too many things to knit. And this one is super cute too. So this one, actually, I wonder if you could use the same, you could get 2 different hats in the DK weight yarn. So this was August 29th, and she said new hat design coming out in a week or so. She used her leftovers from her other hat.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that she used her leftovers from the ale hat. It's DK, and it is slip stitches with garter bumps. So she didn't name this one. Let me see if it's come out yet. Nope, she hasn't released it yet. I'll show you what it looks like though. So, anyway, I don't know how I got off on that tangent. Sorry, but...
So we were talking about new yarns that were coming in.
Right, so we got Western Sky. You said you ordered Julie Oslin.
I did order Julie Oslin, Fino, and Lazoo DK.
Mm-hmm. We said we got Magpie in, and we are getting in... You haven't placed another Life in the Long Grass order yet?
No, but I am going to do that. We also have an order of Olan coming in.
Mm-hmm. A big order of Olan.
A big order of Olan. And...
Skein.
I didn't know if you were going to say it or not.
I know. Well, that's because So I always have liked Kristen's yarns at Skein.
Now, we used to carry
We carried it a long time ago when she wholesaled, and then she stopped wholesaling, and then recently she started wholesaling again, and I contacted her, and I said, what? And she said, yes, I will let you guys. So anyway, so we should get that in October. Because she said she's on vacation in September.
Yes.
So those are some things to look forward. And then we have a list of trunk shows that are coming out in November. We'll wait for all that because I don't have all the dates in front of me.
You're doing a trunk show in November?
I'm doing a trunk show in November, and then that's probably all I'm doing for a little while. I got to see how I manage all this.
Yeah. She gets a little sideways.
What does this mean?
Sideways.
Never seen it. It's never seen this as sideways.
It's sideways for me.
Okay, sideways.
See, she's been good as long as she can be good.
So I can't think of anything else, and I think we're under an hour.
Let me say one thing. The ghost horses have not been released yet.
Well, we'll wait to post this until it is, right?
Well, I don't know that we have to wait to post it until it is, but she said she would release it one day this week coming, is what she posted.
Okay.
So I didn't feel like that was clarified.
Oh, okay.
Other than that,
Are we missing anything?
well, I'm sure we are. But Heather's around a little more now, and we may podcast more often.
We may not. It's funny when we see our people that watch us, they say, you guys haven't done a podcast, you guys got to podcast more. But we always want to make sure that we have new things to show too, and that takes time. So I need to get on some hats.
Yeah, instead of being after me, right?
Well, you have a couple of sweaters that you haven't finished. You know, the one that you were doing in this and the cloudy.
The cloudy.
Yep.
I can't find that bag.
Oh, great.
I don't know where it is. I looked for it.
Okay.
But there's a couple accessories that I want to do, and it's hard when you're doing a test knit. You can't say, "Oh, I'm doing something else."
I know. Well, you become
Don't
the
quit asking.
you've become the test knit person. Like that's all you want to do, test knits.
But you know what that means?
I know that means we have the pattern done when it's released, which is really nice.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not. Somebody the other day said, "How do you get all these sweaters done so fast?" And I said, "Well, I test knit most of them." And she said, "Oh, wow. That's better than me thinking you stayed up all night finishing."
Well, you do that too.
Well, I do, but not the day after a pattern comes out.
But you know, she didn't knit any in the car yesterday when we were going to New Jersey. Because I think she knows it's a pet peeve of mine.
Of me knitting and you not getting
Yeah,
to?
because if I drive, she gets to knit, and
I didn't.
I don't
knit.
think that's fair.
I just talked the whole time. Ask. I talked the whole time.
Well, you know, that's what Paul said last night. What'd you guys talk about? I just kind of laughed to myself. All right, we're digressing. Thank you for watching. Like I said, I'll try to link everything below. We talked about a lot of stuff, so hopefully I'll have everything there. If there's something that you want, send us a note and say, Heather, you forgot to put it at the bottom. And we should get this up pretty soon.
I would think so.
Yeah, and we'll, you know, try to do this in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully it's not going to be as long as it was before. And did you mention the winner?
Oh, I did not.
Mom.
I mentioned it. Well, I'm going to make. Got it.
Okay.
Gabby,
We had this was the 3,000 subscribers.
yes, it was.
We had a giveaway.
And it was Gabrielle, and she came and picked up it.
Right, because she lives in Virginia, I think.
Right. I think it's Herndon,
Okay.
Virginia, and she had never been to the shop before. She came and stayed a couple of hours, sat in the back with some of the girls that are always back in the back knitting. You all should know that. If you want to ever come and visit, just bring your knitting, because there's almost always somebody
here, yeah.
here in the back knitting. They used to sit out front, which is what I call the living room, but it got to be too many of them to be out front.
Yeah, because that's where all the yarn is.
So now they're all around the kitchen table in the back. But she came and stayed, and it was so nice to meet her, and she was so excited about what she
And what
got.
did she win? It was Julie Osselin, wasn't it?
It was 2 skeins of Julie Osselin along with a project bag, I think.
Okay. Yes, we wanted to mention that. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting us. If you've stopped us and said hello.
It just always, I get teary-eyed
Yeah.
when people stop.
I'm handling it a little bit better.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
I still
I
get.
didn't get teary-eyed yesterday.
I did 2 or 3 times.
So you are right now.
We
She's getting sideways.
We certainly appreciate all your support and all the feedback and all the love that's shown.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. So, thank you guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.